Cool.
Dope. Yo, what's good, Styles? So obviously, coming from Cape Town, um, I just want to know, first question, like, how has the city influenced you? Were you raised here with the culture, or like, what's your take about the city and how that reflects in your artistry?
Obviously, man's on draw in it, but like obviously draw is just coming in, obviously. But I like to think it does in a way, fam, because like everything I speak about is about the city, and yeah, man, I'm fully vested in the city, so yeah.
And which part of Cape Town do you find the liveliest, like in terms of art, culture type of thing?
Culture. So many spots, man, in it, but like I get inspiration from like different places. I like to think. So where I stay right now at the moment is more or less in the area. If you look at the Blowback area, you've got places like Big Bay, Malkbos, very quiet, but obviously a bit of culture going on there. You've got nice views, obviously, but irregardless, you've got people coming up now that are doing draw, obviously, in the city. So yeah,
Yeah, and talk about like making drill in SA, Cape Town to be specifically like, how were you put on, and like, do you have a couple of homies that you kind of make drill with? I know it's not the mainstream right yet, let me say, because
yeah,
it is popping around the city.
yeah.
But like, just talk about that, like making drill in Cape Town, SA. How did that come to you, and how are you finding that?
So obviously, man's been on draw like a long time, man. So even before draw was like a thing, like I was on to draw. I got introduced to draw like 2010. Um, I would like ring up names now that won't even like ring a bell. Um, the first artists I heard of draw was like 410, Skendo and AM. It was like a duo I heard first, and I listened to people like RV. He just dropped a mixtape just now as part of the OFB gang, well, music crew. So yeah, pretty much like the inspiration was from Skendo and AM because they were rapping at the moment, but were able to do drill as well. Yeah, pretty much that's been the inspiration. I've got homies as well. There's a crew coming up now. They call themselves the 78. Um, I've got a homie called Loki. He's part of the group as well. So he's kind of doing drill as well. He's coming up. So yeah, I'd like to think me and them get along just fine. So yeah,
Yeah, and like drill, yeah, it's a music genre, but it's also it's a little bit more than that, right? In terms of like busy meeting. It's more of like a culture in it, like in terms of like, because you have like certain codes and dress senses.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah. It's a lot. Some people think of it as a lifestyle, but it's not, man. It's like a movement in it, like in a way. Obviously, you've got different types of movements and what they go about, and I feel drill is quite versatile in the sense that it's just not music alone, man. You get me? It's everything. It's fashion, clothing. It's how somebody walks, talks, the way they portray themselves. You know, in a way.
Yeah. And what's your what do you think of like other music genres? What other music genres are you into?
Yeah, man. I wouldn't shy away from that. Man listens to like pop, hip hop, and rap. Like in general, you get me? Like I listen to rap as well. So like, it's not like draw is just like a thing that man does in it. Like there's like other things like I would branch out and doing, and I feel like someday I might even do a track like a normal rap song. You know, who
Yeah.
knows? So yeah.
But then any local cats like Cape Town musicians that like you.
Like I do follow. Yeah, yeah. There's like quite a few, but I wouldn't like to give them that clutch. You know. Nah,
Oh yeah. And what's your favorite like all time drill song?
Drew song. Draw in peace.
Who's that by?
410 obviously. Skenglo and AM, but that's one of them. But I like I would say Quang Face, hi hats. So like that's like my all time favorite at the moment. Like obviously the inspiration comes from AM and Skenglo, but to say like right now, the song I really vibe to and I need motivation from, I'd like to think Quang Face hi hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what about dance moves? Do you have a favorite drill like dance move?
Yeah, a couple in it. But the thing is, the more dances are like really associated to gang life, and I don't want to portray that in any case. Though, I just feel like Joe should represent himself by music, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What's your take on like there's this popular debates about like um, cats in Cape Town wanting to move to Joburg to like blow up. Like, what do you think that there's the capacity in Cape Town for like artists to blow up, or what's your whole take on that whole move?
Nah, man, the moving to Joburg is dead, cuz, you know, it's dead. Like, man has to just make it work in any way, fam, you get me? Be Russia, Atlantic, wherever, man. Man has to just, like, make it work. So that the conversation of saying, nah, man's gonna move to Joburg just to blow up, that's dead, cuz. There's many things going on, obviously, right now. So I wouldn't like to think at all, like, nah, moving to Joburg is the thing. I mean, there's platforms like these, you get me? So actually, I feel like there's more potential here than Joburg because the market there is like really flooded compared to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what does music do for you personally?
I like to think it's like therapy in a way. So I'm like a Picasso of draw, I think. I like to paint pictures with my music. So with that being said, I feel like it plays a huge role in my life because it's therapeutical in a way, I felt.
Yeah, that's dope. Um, Moving on to like your preferred um, recording situations. Like, are you more of like a studio-based person, or do you like live performance stage stuff more?
Both, man. Both, you've got like a very impactful way in just building an artist in general, you get me? So if I'm gonna claim that I'm like a good draw artist in it, man has to do both. You know, I can't really say I'm gonna stick to live performances. Nah, that's dead. I just have to do both.
Yeah. Um, and like, what's your process with writing music? Like, do you just have these ideas in your head? Do you listen to the beat first? Like, what's the spark when it comes to the creativity?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm not really like I don't give a like a f about beats, man. Man's not really like too specific about beats he wants. You get me? I'm more or less just chill with it. Like if I'm chilling, I see something really funny or nice, and I feel like I can write about it. Man, like writes about it, and then the picking of beats comes later. But I feel like I'm a more of a writer than a guy that goes about looking for beats in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to bring it back to the drill quickly, like the identity aspect of it, is it something that's something that I've seen as quite common with a lot of drill artists. What does that relate to? The thing about like not like keeping that low key appearance.
Like for me, it's different, man. It's just like obviously different, man. I've got different opinions about it. You get me? But I just feel like I've got a life in general. You get me? So I don't want people to like come into my personal space when I'm trying to have like fun with my family and be like, yeah, that's the guy. So like I just feel like I want me to represent the genre, but at the same time, I don't want the genre to represent my life in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
And what happens if you like you make it to a global level? Are you still gonna keep that identity a secret?
Obviously, like I even feel like for many reasons, yeah, because obviously I don't want that because obviously it's gonna be more pressure in it. So yeah, I definitely have to. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying man is gonna like hide his face forever. We never know, man. We never know. Like I can take off this mask now, so yeah.
Yeah. And outside of music, what else do you find yourself enjoy doing?
So yeah, I play football a lot. I'm a sportsman in general. I do play basketball as well. So originally the name Styles comes from that because I can play on like most of every sport that's played locally here except rugby.
Yeah, so you grew up playing a lot of sports and like,
Yeah. Like my one's like super athletical. Like yeah.
what's your favorite sports team?
Uh, it depends what league we're talking about. NBA, I like to think Lakers. If we're talking about football, it depends with what league. But I've got a few. I've got PSG with France. Yeah, and Liverpool as well. If it comes to the English Premier League, yeah.
Yeah. And in the Spanish?
That's one. It's kind of techie, you know.
You don't watch Spanish football?
I do watch, but you know the team is right now moving mad still, man. It's mental. I don't want to touch it.
I think I know what team is.
But like there's teams obviously that are playing, man. But if you're gonna bet on money, fam, it's dead. Like the leagues, the teams there, it's dead, man. It's very depressing. So yeah, I'm not watching none of that.
Can you just like share a few of like what are you striving for? Just like a few of your goals, may they be short term or long term in your music career.
Okay, cool. I don't want to go far in it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It can be like very like you know what I mean.
Yeah. So obviously I've got a 13-track mixtape on the way soon. So I hope that obviously goes a bit far in it, other than just Cape Town in general. Like obviously, if like the whole nation could like vibe to that, that would be dope, innit? That would be like super lit. Cause I feel like the genre itself is coming up just fine. So if us as artists can also do the same, that would be good. So yeah, man, pretty much. But obviously, there's more like long-term goals, obviously, you know. But I like to stick to that for now.
Yeah. And where's your studio usually based? You make songs with your homies? Do you record alone? What's your setup?
So my take is, I'm really private, man. Man likes like peace, like you know the calmness, man. Doesn't like an environment that's like really hyped up in it. So normally it's like I'll do that by my house. I'll have a homie come through who's like a producer, and he would set up everything by me. And once he's done with that, and he can leave, obviously. But I don't make funny movements to anybody's studios apart from here. So yeah.
So this is like basically the first time you've had a recording session outside of your own home.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Cool. Lastly, can you just share like some of your biggest highlights so far in your career so far?
So obviously, one, this now is good for me. Obviously, because I've got to step out as an artist and obviously out of my comfort zone, so that's quite good. But apart from that, yeah, I've done good numbers on my SoundCloud, and I hope people do check that out. I've got a freestyle out called Steady. So yeah, it's made mad streams, so that's like really good, and I hope it stays like that. Pretty much, yeah. This year, so literally this year has been like a good year for me, you know. Apart from the freestyle, you know, I've got the mixtape coming, and obviously partnering up with you guys, and yeah, so this has been quite good.